That's heavy. So today I wanted to talk to you about potable water. Water is one of the most important things. You can live a month without food. As most of us have seen Naked and Afraid, people go for 21 days and they survive, right? But you can only live for 3 days without water. And if you go 3 days without water, you're actually going to be really dehydrated and very sick. So water is the most important thing that you can do when it comes to survival and thriving in the wild. So I usually carry 2 3-gallon jugs. They're heavy, but they're not so heavy that you can't easily pick them up and move them around after they're full. They come with these great handles, and I've even seen some with little hand pumps that you can attach to the top and then pump the water out with a hand pump with a spigot. I tried the spigot. Personally, I just prefer to just pour it out because I'm traveling in my car when I go camping, and the spigot, I was afraid the spigot would break. So since I'm not in an RV right now, when I travel, or my bus, eventually I'll get my bus. So one of the most important things to know is where to get potable water. Now, potable water is not water that you get in a pot or water that's been boiled in pot. No. Potable water means that it's drinkable, or you can use it to wash your dishes. You can put it on your face. It's clean. It's drinkable water. So obviously, if you're at a lake or a river, you can't really drink that water because you can't guarantee that it doesn't have some type of contaminant in it, either toxins or mostly some type of animal feces that's gotten in it and it can get you sick, giardia or salmonella or E. coli, something like that. So you want to be able to know where there's a good source of water. And so one of the things that you can do is, if you know where there's a spring in your local area, that's an artesian spring, you can get water from the spring. That's my preference. I love to get deep water artesian well water because it tastes amazing. But if you don't know where that option, or you're not close to that option, you can go to your local campground, and even if you're not camping there, you can just drive in, turn the water on, fill up your containers. Most of the time, nobody's going to have a problem with that, because water is so important to life that people know when somebody needs a couple of gallons of water, they're not going to tell you can't get water. Also, if you're in New Mexico or Arizona, while I was there, I found out that it is actually illegal to deny a person a glass of water in those 2 states. I'm not sure if that's the case in other more desert environments in the United States or in other places in the world, but in Arizona and New Mexico, if you go in somewhere and you say, I need a glass of water, they have to give you a glass of water. It might be a small glass, but they still have to give you a glass of water at no charge. So if you are very, very thirsty and it's like the day before your paycheck and you got no change in the car, you can actually get water by going to a local gas station, a restaurant, somewhere in those 2 states, and say, I'm really thirsty, would you give me water? And they will give you a glass of water. So that's a good thing to remember. Also, I just discovered a friend of mine when I was in Washington State visiting. She told me about that you can look up and just on maps or on the web and just put in the search artesian wells near me. And so I was really excited about that, because apparently there's a way that you can look up to figure out where your local well is, because I prefer not to drink tap water because I based on my research, I do believe that the things that they're putting in the tap water are black halides. In other words, halide chemicals that are not good for the body and are not, they go in and they mess with your endocrine system, including your thyroid. So it's very important to make sure that you get enough iodine. Iodine's found in fish and seaweed, and also, you know, there's other foods like nuts and seeds that also have iodine in small quantities. But it's very important to get enough iodine in your diet in order to help your body clean out so iodine is a white halide, it's the good guy. And then you have chlorine, chloride, bromide, and fluoride, and those are black halides. In other words, those would actually do damage to your body, which, you know, people think, well, fluoride in the water is not bad. Obviously, you need fluoride for your teeth, but that's calcium fluoride. That's not fluoridated water. It's different. Fluoridated water actually goes in and affects your thyroid. If you don't have enough iodine, it can affect your thyroid in a bad way. So that's why I prefer to get my water whenever possible from a spring and not from tap water. And, you know, it's really a pain to boil your water all the time. So if you already know of a location where you can get water from an artesian spring, which means the water is actually bubbling up from an inside, you know, deep inside the earth. It's coming up, and it's pure water, and it has all the good minerals that your body needs, you know, things that we've been for thousands and thousands of years ingesting into our body that's necessary for function. Biologically functioning. So it's important to find a good local source of water from an artesian well, or, you know, obviously if you're traveling, if you're camping, always make sure you have a couple of gallons. They say, you know, 3 gallons per person per week is, you know, enough to survive. I tend to keep 6 gallons with me and fill up whenever I can, you know, to make sure I always have enough. And pretty much, I would say I could go about a week on 6 gallons, you know, drinking it, cooking with it, coffee, teas, etc., soups. I tend to drink and eat a lot of foods with a lot of water in them, so I don't have to actually just drink straight water all the time, because I found that I don't tend to drink as much water as I should. But if you're drinking, say, you know, tea, or you're drinking, you know, you're eating soup and stuff like that, you actually get a lot of the water that way, which is fine. You don't have to just drink 8 glasses of straight water without anything else. Obviously, you don't want to include that water with something that is going to dehydrate you. So, like, you know, a cup of coffee a day is fine, but if you drink like 6 cups of coffee, that's going to dehydrate you. Caffeine dehydrates you. So, yeah, I just wanted to talk a little bit about water because it's so, so, so important, and I want to make sure that people know where they can easily find a good source of water. So, thank you for watching. Hit subscribe, and I will see you on the next video.